Welcome back to BaldHeaded Metal, guys. Welcome back to another Ayreon reaction with the song Into the Black Hole. Now, my brother has never really heard this band. I think I mildly showed him one song that you guys recommended to me. But I picked this song to do together for a reaction because this guy right here is a huge Iron Maiden fan, and I know Bruce Dickinson is featured on this song.
My main battle band out there, Never Let Me Down. Let's go. As I mentioned before we started rolling the camera, guys, I tried to check this band years back when it would just launch there, and I always was aware of the name, that they're big influence on the metal scene in general. Let's see what the song is all about. I'm very excited.
And this guy Arjun, he essentially is, what I understand, is a one-man band,
Right.
but it's more he invites different people to write.
It's a musical project almost.
Musical project.
Okay.
And be ready for prog metal, which is why this minute song is.
And look at the artwork already. It's like
it was always science fiction based, and he always creates stories.
Nice.
Let's do it.
Space Odyssey cinematic intro.
So far, a nice kind of ominous kind of intro, right? Haunting, building an atmosphere so far, right?
Yeah, guys, I read a lot of hardcore science fiction novels. This is like Rendezvous with Rama, kind of like introduction. You're deep in space, cold and alone. Very interesting, very evocative.
Very visual.
Visual, yes.
Very visual.
A dark sphere surrounds us. In the center of the galaxy, a hidden force has found us at the boundary of eternity. Nothing escapes, not even light. Beyond the mystical horizon, we surrender to its might. Gazing into the
Of course, Bruce Dickinson. You know what I really appreciate? He's doing something different from Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
It's not a copycat what he does in Iron Maiden. He puts a different tone on it and a different emotion on it to kind of fit this very bleak.
Yeah, that's what signifies his solo career. In his solo albums, he always tries to go and be experimental, not musically only, but also with his sound. If somebody told me that this was a hidden album from early Therion years, before they completely transitioned into symphony, when he just started doing a little bit of keyboards and layering their music and making these stretched out compositions, that's the vibe I'm getting here. Like it's slow, it's brooding, and it's trying to take you on a journey.
And I wanted to point something out. You know my kind of impatience in music sometimes, where I'm the one who's like, oh, this is too long. Oh, this is... It feels just right. It's 3 minutes of just slow composition, but it feels right for the mood that he's creating. It's going to be interesting how he builds on the song and whether we end up ultimately liking the song. Yeah. But so far, I'm on board.
You and I have two different personalities. This is a lot more suited to my personality. Yeah. I do enjoy tuning in into what each instrument is doing and where the song is leading.
He sometimes gets very like almost ritualistic in his music listening because he will turn the lights off. He will sit down. It's only the music. Leave me alone. Don't talk to me.
It's an experience.
Like an experience. And I could be talking, running around, doing things. He's like, how can you listen to music like this?
A deep roar is sounding, as if the universe were crying. My heart is pounding. My every nerve is dying. Nothing escapes, not even light. Beyond the mystical horizon, we surrender to its might, gazing into the universe. Hear screams of fallen souls, sad cries of agony, within the void of this evil hole, deep inside the black.
I gotta say, I really like that heavy part in solo was so earned. It comes out of nowhere and hits you. It's quite awesome.
It builds to it, and I gotta say, Bruce's voice, what he's doing with his growling now, which reminds me of his very specific album. He's making love to me right now. and after this, we either will record this if he doesn't know the song, or we'll just listen to it together if he does, at the gates of the Ayreon. Oh my God, like, I don't know, I always do that. Every time we start rolling and recording, I forget the names of my favorite albums. It just like completely...
It's a Maiden album?
It's Bruce Dickinson album.
Bruce Dickinson.
That's what he's shelling, his solo career. He's like, hey, if I'm not gonna lift those notes up all the way high where I'm gonna make you feel ecstatic, I'm just gonna do this growling and explorative. And like, he's almost like this evil wizard who is telling you a story like in a Dungeons and Dragons kind of like a storytelling.
See, I even didn't go that far. For me, it's just I kind of got in the groove of the melody.
Yeah.
And the solo was awesome. What I've always liked about this guy, Arjun, and his songwriting, it always has the emotional counterpart. I feel like some prog metal can sometimes get so concerned with composition and intricate soloing and playing where he never forgets that. His riffs have emotion, like that main riff. Right. And that solo was really nice so far.
Yeah.
Could it be my imagination, the mirror of my fantasy, a fear-induced hallucination, or is there no way back from the halo of darkness?
We got the same thought, right? That electronic synthesized keyboard came in right at the right time.
Remember when BioWare first revealed the Mass Effect franchise that they're working on, they said they were literally inspired by the 70s and 80s science fiction book covers and all those artists.
Yeah.
So what Mass Effect did visually, this song is doing musically. It's harkening back to that 70s, 80s science fiction and doing it musically. It's putting you in that into that headspace.
Well, also considering what I only assume his age, Arjun's age, the guy who writes the most of the music, he's probably from that era as a kid.
Of course.
And of course, he's going to pull from the inspirations. He seems to be a big science fiction fan, which means he could be your best friend.
For sure.
A switch up.
Now silence devours us. The calm before the storm. Gravity overpowers us and leads us through the final door. Nothing escapes, not even light. Beyond the mystical horizon, we surrender to its might.
This almost like even though this is what they characterize it as prog metal, there's almost like an element of like ambient music.
Yes, what they're doing with the guitar distortions, I love that he's making a distortion sound part of the musical composition. I really like that. There's not a lot of what you could say in the traditional sense, guitar playing. I think she agrees. But it's the fact that he will like play that sound and distort that guitar note and have that be part of the composition is really, really awesome. And I remembered the album name.
What is it?
Chemical Wedding. I have to remind you, after we finish recording this, I have to remind you. Because this is some of the best Bruce Dickinson's vocals, I would say, in years that I've heard.
Well, this was made in 2008.
Oh,
This is what era of Dance of Death?
it makes total sense. I don't know why. I had no idea. I'm thinking, is this 2022? Like, yeah, that's some of the best vocals from Bruce Dickinson that I've heard. And it also channeling that Chemical Wedding.
And I'll be honest, this is not something I would pick out of a hat and listen to because for me, as much as I'm enjoying the melody and I love the song, it's demanding. I'll be honest with you, demanding to my attention with the ambient sound. But if I'm in the right mood for this is like perfect. It's almost like you could put it as a soundtrack to like a video game or something else and just kind of enjoy the ride.
Gazing into the
That was an awesome solo of the
A
keyboard.
synth solo.
Synth solo.
Right what I was about to say in our 10 minutes that, hey, it's an interesting song without a solo. And we got a solo.
Because we got a guitar solo and then we have a synth solo.
Yeah.
I do have to respect a musician who has a vision for the song.
Yeah.
I might not like personally all the decisions, meaning like I would have liked a couple more change ups within the song, but it seems like he had this vision for the song to have this not I wouldn't want to say stretched out, but kind of elongated melody that really lingers and lets you ponder a little bit.
I think we can both agree, whether we like or dislike the song, it's a master at work, and he knows what he's doing, and he's very deliberate about it.
You know what I have to say? What was interesting? I did a reaction to this band live,
Yeah.
and I couldn't find him in the crowd almost. And somebody told me that he usually doesn't perform a lot of songs on his concerts of his own songs,
Right.
Because he has stage fright. So I thought it was interesting for somebody who's so skillful and such a master of his art, yet he gets stopped in a different thing from becoming maybe one of the reasons why he never had just a band of like regular people that stay there if we can go on tour, because he just has this kind of innate fear he can't get over. But from a music standpoint, let's just finish it up and we'll say our last comments as well. And look, it looks like he's been around for a while. There's an album from 1998.
Yeah, I knew at one point, I told you that I was checking this band out because I constantly return to the bands. I go surface levels, make a dent in there, and then I return several years after and try again. This song convinced me I need to go back and re-listen to this band.
This is the song I tried to show you. If you remember, there was just a lot of vocalists and elements. And he has both this kind of more ambient approach, and then he has this just overly intricate prog metal side as well, which I appreciate somebody with that kind of level of skill. I honestly, same here. I need to jump into an album and check out what this band's all about.
So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
We understand, obviously, that all parts of the songs are integral and they work together to create an experience. But if you were to pick the star of the song, if it was like a Marvel movie, the one that has the most impact, what would it be?
Bruce's vocals.
Bruce's vocals?
I thought right after that being the keyboards, because they really built on this science fiction feeling. But I can't deny how much I love Bruce Dickinson and how he just colored like of this song in another vocalist's hands. I don't know if it would have had the same impact.
See, for me, it was an entirely different thing, because how the song starts, very mellow, and it creates this mood, this atmosphere. Like you said, it was very visual, very cinematic. And then the guitar work and instrumentation kicks in. And then Bruce's voice and obviously the lyrical content takes you somewhere. But for me, the star of the song is actual ambiance. I don't know why. I can't explain it. It's almost like you're listening to the ambiance, and then the vocals and the story and even the guitar work is sort of on the periphery. I can't explain it. But you constantly return to that setting. Like, hey, where am I? I'm traversing stars. I'm on this like desolate planet. You constantly are returning to the ambiance. And at the end, that synth solo, fantastic. Yeah, it was awesome.
And I know this was quite highly requested after I said I'm a big fan of Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
So this was requested by you guys. So now I would love to hear your input as well on this song and kind of what stands out to you and what did you love the most about this particular song and just Arjun in general as a musician. And with that note, guys, make sure to enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe out there and what?
Up the irons.
Take care, guys.